what's up guys? Jimbo back again with another knife review for you. This will be the first of its kind that I've done from this particular company, the first in-depth review that I've done from the Kabar line of knives. This is the Kabar Dozier line of folding knives. This is pretty popular. It's been reviewed by several of my peers here on YouTube. And I just figured I'd go ahead and throw my hat in the ring on this one and try and do something a little bit different with my review, hence all the variants and whatnot. But as always, let's go ahead and jump right into the specifications here first. Okay, for spec purposes, I'll take the mini out, and we'll talk about what we'll refer to as the medium size folder. Okay, the close length on these guys comes in at 4 1/4 inches. The blade length comes in at 3 inches, giving it an overall length of 7 1/4 inches. The weight on these is incredibly light. It's especially for a knife with a 3-inch blade. It comes in at 2.2 ounces, which is very, 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 very light. These do not have stainless steel liners, so that's one of the reasons, or one of the ways rather, that they keep the weight down. Blade material on this, on all of these, is an AUS 8. The one I'm holding in my hand is a drop point style blade with a high hollow grind. So you can see the grind starts right about there, just about maybe a quarter of the way down the spine. The handle material on this is a Zytel material, which is really good. I think, in my opinion, it's pretty grippy. It's got some grooves on there and feels pretty good in your hand. You can deploy these, again, depending on which one you have. I've got a thumb stud deploying one here. As you can see, it's a one-sided thumb stud, a bit of somewhat unusual in the folding knife community these days, but this is reversible. It's got a little screw there you can take out if you want to flip it. And the other method of deployment, use the Blaze Orange one here, it's got a oval-shaped thumb hole. So if you prefer a thumb hole over a thumb stud, they've got you covered. Seems to work okay. We'll focus on this one. This is the first one I got, guys, the foliage green one. Over here we've got the khaki/desert brown kind of one, and then we got the black with the satin finish. Okay, blade centering. We'll focus on that one. That is pretty darn close to center, in my opinion. That's pretty good tolerance. Let's look at the thumb hole one. Yeah, that's pretty close to center. Excellent job, Kabar. Okay, the pocket clip on these is all the same. It's left and right tip up only. So you lefties, they've got you covered, and it's in the very popular tip up configuration. It is made in Taiwan, which is, again, is different from China, and I think companies like Spyderco have proven that with the Sage 1, which is made in Taiwan, which has absolutely outstanding quality control, and I think the quality control on these is equally outstanding. There is a larger version of this that I apologize I was not able to get in time for this review. This got a monster blade on it. It's like 3.6 inches. You know, when you're getting that close to the 4-inch marker, in my opinion, that's definitely a larger knife. Bring in the baby brother here for a second. The mini Dozier. This little guy's got a little 2 1/4 inch blade. I will probably do a separate review on this since it's in my opinion, a backup EDC and not a primary for my particular EDC setup. But just to give you a sense of scale here, the differences between we'll call it the middle sized and the baby sized. Significantly smaller, and this guy's barely an ounce. Yeah, there are some reviews out there on this, guys, so if you want to catch a review on this right now, you can use your search button. I'm sure you'll find several, but again, I'll do a review on this at a later date. There's also a pink version of this, which, I don't know, just my personal opinion, guys. I'm not like a huge fan of pink knives. Nothing against anyone who's a fan. Just not my thing. Not to mention, I figure I had enough of these with the orange, the green, the khaki, and the black. You know, I didn't really need to go overboard. But as far as what I think about these knives, we'll focus on this one since I got this one first. I really like them. For the price point, you know, for only about 20 bucks, I think Kabar has a real value folder on these. These all feature a lockback, minus the boy dent, which I was a little bit surprised as. That's kind of par for the course these days. But again, not a big deal. With the way it grips in your hand, I don't think I'm going to accidentally let loose the lock. It just doesn't seem to to be feasible with this particular handle shape. But let me show you some differences here between these. Okay, first, obviously you notice the blade shape difference. This one, as well as the khaki one down there, is a drop point style version, as I had said earlier. Kabar hasn't really stated a name for this style of blade. Based upon the dimensions and the shape of the blade, I would call it a clip point, simply because the point on this goes upward as opposed to straight out like it does on the drop point. So I would call that closer to a clip point than a drop point. And then we've got another one over here that is, they may not make this anymore, guys, because when I was trying to look up some information about it, I couldn't find it on any of the major websites, like Knife Center or whatnot. But when I bought this, they referred to it as the spear point style blade. Whereas if you look at it, if you look close enough, you can see that it is actually a spear point. The definition of a spear point, guys, is that the top and the bottom of the blade have the same angle, basically meaning that it's symmetrical. And if you look at this, it's basically shaped like a bullet. If you look at it just from there, it looks like the head of a spear, basically. And the drop point, as you can see, is basically a straight line that goes down right here. Whereas the spear point, if you look at it right there, it starts out straight, then it goes up, then it curves down. So slight differences. Another difference would be that the drop point has jimping on it, whereas the spear point does not. Same with the thumb hole. This does not have jimping on it either. I think that's mainly because of the thumb hole. It just wouldn't make sense to put it up there because of the way it grooves upward. But as you can probably tell here, this is a reasonably thick blade. The steel that they're using here, it's definitely a really kind of hardy, bulky stock on it. So really, really good stuff in my opinion. Good, strong, sturdy blade. Excellent. Another pro I would definitely have to give it is the lockback itself is so easy to disengage. I mean, you just give it a tiny little push and it closes. It just seems to be so smooth and so easy, to get the sucker to close. It's definitely good. I mean, the lockback is, traditionally it's a sturdier lock than, say, a liner lock or a frame lock. So it's kind of nice that it's not too much of a chore to get this guy to close. So excellent stuff. One minor hit I'd have to give on this, guys. The grind angle on these is 15 degrees, which makes it, in my opinion, a little bit difficult to sharpen. I use the Lansky sharpening kit, and the shallowest grind angle that system has is 17 degrees. And it just may be my lack of knowledge here, guys, but I don't believe I have another knife with a 15-degree grind angle. So that is a bit of a hit I would have to give on. Again, it may just be my lack of ability in sharpening, but even at $20, I think the grind angle could have been a little bit more of the traditional, like 30, 35, or 40-degree angle. I have tried to sharpen the mini dozier here, and I've been able to get a decent edge on it, but nowhere near factory edge. Not hair popping sharp. And I've tried my best to try and get an angle on it. I'm probably just going to send it back to Kabar and have them do it. But again, not a big deal, just a little bit of a minor hit on it. It is a $20 knife, but I think it just because it's a $20 knife doesn't mean it should be hard to sharpen. So anyways, not a big deal. Deployment and lockup on this, guys, it's pretty fast. It's definitely flickable in my opinion. If you get your thumbnail in there and get it loose, you can also open it nice and smooth, like so. The thumb stud on this is a little bit different than your conventional thumb stud, meaning your conventional thumb stud, you start your thumb here and you kind of push out in an arcward motion, whereas this one, you start under the thumb stud and you kind of use it for leverage to get this guy to open. Lockup, a little bit of blade play that seems to be consistent across the board with each of the little variants here, but again, nice and fast, just give it a little thumbnail flick and good to go. Show a little carry view here. Just use since these all basically carry the same way, guys, the pocket clip is the same shape on all of them. We'll just use the foliage green one here for this. So you can see it's got a moderately low carry. It sticks out just a little bit, definitely not as high as some of the Kershaws, but not as low as like the spider wire clip or the SOG Flash one, but comes in and out of there pretty easy, not too bad. I did have to kind of just take my thumb and hold the pocket clip back a couple times on each of the knives to get it to loosen up a little bit. It was a little bit stiff from the factory, but once you do that a couple times, it's pretty easy. Just in and out, no big deal. Doesn't seem to tear up your pants too much. It's texturing on the handle is pretty mild, so good job, Kabar. Okay, we'll do some size comparisons here. Got Mr. Kabar Dozier in the middle. And we'll do what I feel are a couple of somewhat comparable knives as far as price and construction and whatnot. It's the Kershaw Clash. That's about a $20 knife. Similar in size, as you can see. The Dozier looks like a little bit longer in the handle, but the Clash has a slightly longer blade. It's about a 1/4 inch longer. We got the CRKT Drifter, which is definitely going to be a little bit smaller. It's almost the same size as the Kabar Dozier, and a little bit smaller than the Clash. But similar in price. This is like $15, $16 knife. These are both $20 knives. So I would call them comparable. Okay, we'll throw in a Spyderco here. Delica. Just about the same size. I'm throwing a Benchmade. I haven't used this one in a while. Mini Barrage. Just about the same. Got to throw in a Kershaw. I'm throwing the Oh So Sweet. Throwing that in for my man Bankmind. The Spider-Man handle, that's what I call it. And I'm throwing the Streamlight Microstream. Dozier design logo. Is it me, guys, or does that logo remind you of the Dungeons and Dragons logo? It's just, I don't know. When I look at it, that's what it reminds me of. K-bar there on the handle. You can see the textures. Look at that pocket clip. Made in Taiwan. Check out the thumb hole version. Kind of an oval shape, not round like a spider hole. Look at that blaze orange handle. It's like a pumpkin color. I like it though. It's unusual. You don't see many knives that are this color. Okay, let's take a look at the khaki, which is also a drop point like the foliage green one. Look at that kind of a coffee with cream color. And let's look at the spear point. That nice satin finish on the blade and a nice black handle. I like it. I think it's classy. Let's see where it ramps up to form the spear shape. And just for kicks, we'll throw in the mini. So you can see it's pretty small. It fits in my hand. Little 2 1/4 inch blade. Let's get that cool blaze orange handle. This is available in black and pink as well, but I like the orange. I think it looks cool on the mini. It's a cool little guy. Alright, let's do a cutting demo here. We'll start with the drop point version. Pretty good. Let's do the spear point. Oops. There we go. Oop. Pretty good job. And lastly, we'll call it the clip point version. Oops. Not bad. Pretty good stuff. Good job, Kabar. So, in conclusion, guys, I think the Kabar Dozier folding line of knives is a really, really great line of EDC folding knives. From the small one to the medium-sized one. I haven't had a chance to try the big one yet. That's a little bit on the big side for me. 3.6 inches is a bit monstrous. But with respect to the medium-sized ones, I think they're a great value. At just about 20 bucks, virtually anywhere you shop, Considering what you're getting, you've got a 3-inch blade, which is, in my opinion, virtually optimal for EDC purposes. Not too big, not too small. You got a nice, strong, sturdy lock back that's easy to get loose. The deployment on it is nice and fast. And again, it's only 2.2 ounces. For a 3-inch blade, that's incredibly light. It feels really great in your hands. I mean, you've got a variety of blade choices. If you like the clip point with the oval shaped thumb hole, or if you like more of the spear point, if you get it, guys. Again, I don't know if they make those anymore. I haven't been able to find one since I got one, but or if you like the mini one, if you've got smaller hands, or maybe your girlfriend, you want to get her into carrying knives, the mini one is a great first knife. I think this is just a really great value and a really outstanding EDC option. Again, for only $20, it's really hard to go wrong. I like to go ahead and give this one the Mr. Jimbo Fox recommendation, just based upon price point and the quality control for what you're getting. I think is just great. I think Kabar and Mr. Dozier have done a great job with this knife. I want to go ahead and thank everyone so much for the time, taking the time to watch this video. I hope you found it informative, and if you were on the fence about this, I hope it's helped you either way as far as whether or not this knife is right for you. But as always, guys, stay fit, stay strong, stay supreme. Take care.